Welcome back to
We're back.
the Professional Lovers Channel. And season 13 is upon us. And we want to say it's been a minute, but welcome back.
I'm Patty.
And I'm Al.
And as he said, we are the Professional Lovers, and we're 2 weeks late, but better late than never.
Ooh.
We got ready to watch the premiere and discovered that our TV provider no longer carried the Lifetime channel.
The nerve.
So we had to find a different way to watch.
Yes.
But that's okay, because not that much usually happens in the first few weeks of the show.
True.
But we're back, and we're here to recap the first 2 weeks and tell you what we've been thinking, because already I'm scared.
Yeah, we come to realize that humans are humans, and we all err. And sometimes...
And even experts err.
The professionals, yes, exactly.
But anyway, before we get started, if you're new to our channel, we've been married for 27 years, almost 28 in a few months. And we enjoy sharing tips and looking at relationship issues through the eyes of Married at First Sight. So we try not to talk about the people themselves, but the issues that they create in their relationship because of things they believe and ways that they behave.
And from our perspective, what things can be implemented within their relationship that we feel may enhance their relationship.
Make a difference, yes. And if not them, then possibly those of you who watch. We enjoy your feedback as long as it stays respectful, because everyone's opinion matters. And we try to stay respectful as we remark on your feedback. But most of our subscribers, if not all of them, are very cool. And those who do feedback, give us feedback, are very cool. So we enjoy that.
And cool people know cool people. So invite your other cool people to look at the channel and express their opinions on what we're coming up with.
Because we know there are a lot of folk who have opinions on Married at First Sight couples. Mm-hmm. And so here we go. Our first couple, Mirla and Gil. All right. So I think we're just going to, for this recap, we're going to look at characteristics that
the personality
seem positive and characteristics that produce red flags.
Yeah.
Go. Mirla
is extremely set in her ways. She has the expectation of having a relationship that she can just kind of insert into her lifestyle, which we've come across it, we've talked about it before, where when you're sharing your life, you have to be adaptable, and there's nothing wrong with her lifestyle, but it's just her. She doesn't have to be concerned or consider anybody else. And so when you now are making this step, you automatically at least have to have the mindset that now you're going to have someone inserted into your day-to-day activities. And if you're not willing to consider who they are and what they bring to the table, the fact that they're even sitting at the table, that's a major flag. That's a banner.
Well, and let me just say that this is somewhat typical of a lot of older singles. Now, we were older. The longer you live singly, the more set in your ways you become. And you don't have to think about how you spend your money, when you spend your money, how much of it you spend, where you go. So it's this characteristic is common across the table. And there are many of these singles who have been matched who carry some of those traits. Independent, especially independent women who are strong, who are smart, who are not wallflowers, who speak their mind, who have opinions. It's easy to be set in your ways.
And caveat, it just makes me think that maybe they think that they have to sacrifice some of that.
I believe that's true.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate
I believe that's
because
true.
you really
That's
don't.
true.
You don't. As far as I'm concerned, if you, as a strong, independent woman, find a mate, then you become a strong, independent couple because you have now found a mate that you're compatible with, and they definitely have either similarities or tendencies that bring out even more of who you are.
But the key that you brought out is you think that you have to give it up.
Yeah.
And it's not about giving it up. And I'm speaking from experience because I was an older, single, independent, strong-minded, opinionated, I am woman. And I had, created a lifestyle for myself, the same as you created a lifestyle for yourself. Okay. The caveat is understanding how you have to compromise and negotiate, that it's not that you have to give up how you have been living, but you have to adapt how you have been living to now accommodate somebody else. So for instance, and I guess we're spending a lot of time on this because, like I said, this is something we've seen in just about all of the singles who are being matched, right? Yeah, true. So, for instance, you were a big basketball person. Your lifestyle included playing ball all the time.
Yeah, I'm an outdoors guy. Yeah.
And on weekends, all your Saturdays was, were basketball. Sunday was all basketball.
Wind my clock.
After work, you might be in basketball. Okay, so now I come into the picture.
I had a little skill.
We get together. And does that mean that all of a sudden he can't go out and play basketball? No. What it does mean, though, is that he can't play basketball as often as he did before.
I got a woman now. I can give up the other woman.
And that's all we're talking about. We're talking about adapting what you've been used to doing to now accommodate somebody who you said that you want. Yeah. You want a person in your life.
This ain't a mandate. This is a choice.
Exactly. You got on Married at First Sight expressly to find a mate.
Yeah.
And so I do think that for any of you out there who are single, who want to be married and are looking for a mate, and you get a guy who you're interested in, who you seem to gel together and all that you have to think about, it's not just inserting him into how you live or he inserting you into how he lives and nothing about that changes except for now there's another person. It's about you adapting how you live to accommodate the fact that you now have another person who has to have your attention.
Yeah.
That's why they're there.
Exactly.
Because you want to give attention and you want to receive attention. Hopefully you want to give attention and just not receive it all.
Exactly.
All right. And
let me just say, this is not to beat up on Merla. This is a tendency that we have seen throughout the seasons that we have experienced.
Exactly.
And, reviewed. So, just in the same vein that we are talking about that tendency, just as quickly as they finally faced off, Miller softened her expectations and her checklist.
Right. I don't want a bald man.
I don't want a bald man.
She got a bald man.
He smiled at her and she was like,
and that was it. She wasn't looking at the bald head anymore.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Yeah.
That's about, that's an example of adapting your expectations.
Exactly.
Now, the other key is, and not just with Merla, but with all of them, and we've seen this throughout the seasons too, and that is when your friends talk about the one who's been matched and they tell the truth. So all of Merla's friends, she's a diva, she's picky, she does not compromise, she, and these are her friends talking.
Mhm.
So now, if your friends are saying this about you, I'm just saying, I'm not saying that necessarily about you, but I am, because it's obvious that she
It's
is a
true.
diva and she loves and she's high maintenance.
Yeah.
You know, and there are men who can deal with that.
Yeah, true.
The question is, can Gil?
Does he want to?
Right.
Because Gil, on the other hand, seems to be.
He's got his expectations too.
Yeah, but he's an open-minded, more so open-minded individual, and he seems playful. I'll just kind of categorize it as that. He's playful, and she's very reserved.
Very reserved. We've seen that too, but we've seen it work.
Yeah.
We've also seen it not work.
I mean, you kind of pull a little bit of each other out. Kind of couch his freedom and pull out her rigidity.
Now, the fact that he said he wants a passionate, a 90s style love, which includes a lot of passion, maybe she's got it, maybe she doesn't. Right now, she does not. So that's going to be interesting as she presented her cheek to him at the altar for him to kiss, which she said she was going to do, and she did.
She did.
Now, one thing about Gil is that he said he doesn't trust easily. And that's, we know that trust is a huge part of a relationship, and it has to be earned, and it has to grow.
Especially as you get older.
Right.
Because we've experienced things which causes our trust to be earned even more so.
So anything else about those two?
A lot of hope.
All right, but we're going to give you our predictions, which I don't think we've ever done at the end of this. So we're going to give our predictions about who will or might last and who will or might not.
Okay.
So anyway, all right, Michaela and Zach.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to start. Again, her friends and her sisters call her stubborn. And she's gone through a lot. Was homeless, lost her father, who you can tell she's a daddy's girl. And she admits that, in her younger days, she was very shallow. So she picked guys based on superficial
baby of the bunch
things. But she's a lot of personality.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
bubbly,
she's very bubbly,
very optimistic.
Yeah. But that stubbornness, that's a red flag. Anyone who's stubborn, again, means that there's a certain amount of adaptability that you may not have because you see yourself as being right.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that has to do with the man that she knew as her father, who took care of his girls. He had all girls. So right. I can imagine the type of man that she may experience or look for. He has to be unique. He has to be extremely unique to be able to deal with that type of personality and character that has been formed by a man that looks out for their whole being.
Yeah, and as the only girl in my family, I understand that, your girl dads are very protective.
Yeah.
And if you grow up under a protective dad who makes sure that you have everything you need and things are done the way they need to do, and they are your provider.
Exactly.
That's the kind of man that you end up looking for, or that you gravitate to, is a man who is a provider.
Yeah,
who mirrors your dad.
Always a soft place to fall.
Right. Zach, another never been in love.
Yeah.
Very idealistic. Has the mom, dad, longevity, married.
Yeah, the
example.
The example, but again, I think he's he's the youngest as well.
Yes, he's 27.
But a family of all males.
Right.
Whereas, for guys, I think for the most part, we're kind of left on our own to experience our stuff. We're not catered. Well, we can be catered to and pampered to the point where we become mama's boys and things like that. I can't necessarily say that he may be a mama's boy, but he is extremely sensitive.
Okay, I thought that Miles was sensitive, Zach is real sensitive.
Miles is a different sensitivity. Miles is consideration sensitivity. Zach is.
Yeah.
Some might just
he's
go
done
there.
a lot of crying already.
Yeah.
And not that there's anything wrong with crying.
I do.
It just what?
I do.
You think there's something wrong with crying?
No. I say I cry.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do cry.
You do, but not at the
Sometimes.
drop of a hat. So far, it seems like
Just ain't seen
Zach
the drop.
cries at the drop of a hat. And that's okay. But as a guy, it seems like wearing your emotions on your sleeve like that all the time could create some issue. Not saying that it will.
Yeah.
Again, not saying anything wrong with that. Just being observant.
And it just could be nervous energy on his part. You know,
Or
just
a little,
going through this.
Seems a little insecure at times.
Yeah.
But has always wanted to be married. My red flag for Zach is that his longest relationship has been 9 months. That's different.
For a 27-year-old, yeah, you'd want one to last in there a little while. But hey, we'll see. Maybe he's just reserved in expressing who he is for a long period of time for the simple fact that he hasn't met the person that is compatible with him.
Well, no one's lived up to his expectations.
Yeah.
Thus far.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else with them?
No.
All right, then. Moving on to Bao
and
Johnny. That was very interesting.
Quite.
You kept hearing, like in trailers and stuff like that, that they recognize each other at the altar, and I was wondering how, why. Was it some kind of, they ran into each other at a singles bar or some kind? But it turns out that they knew each other from school, even though they went to different
schools.
Right, different schools.
15 years ago.
But both head of their Vietnamese student association.
Yeah.
And, so I thought that was really interesting.
True. Which means that their culture is not a barrier.
Right.
And being Americanized, for lack of a better term. They are true to their history, their nature.
Which played out culture. When they both had decided on their own that they wanted that tea ceremony.
Right.
And
I mean, everything...
It just worked out perfectly.
Yeah. All the exterior seems to be falling into place.
Right. Now, Bao, as a person, as an individual, has been feeling pressured by her family to get married. Yeah. That's part of that culture thing.
Yeah.
But kudos to her for resisting that pressure, not just, settling for anybody, which happens a lot, where you just settle because you feel like your time clock is ticking or whatever. But again, she's called intense and hot-headed and stubborn and inflexible by her family.
But looking at her, she almost seems like a little wallflower.
Yeah, almost. But she also is kind of playful.
She became such. Yeah.
But again, her expectation when she got her fiance's present right before she got married, it was all sports stuff, and she started having a meltdown like, no. This is not the kind of man that I want. And then when she saw him, was like, wait a minute, that's Johnny. Okay, wait a minute. He was a player in school.
But he does this and he does that.
And he is intelligent. He's just not a jock, an airhead jock, kind of a thing. So, again, expectation. Johnny
was a player, but, an intellectual, a pretty well-wrapped individual. A guy, germaphobe,
OCD.
Yeah, got some issues there. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but there is
But you have to know how to deal with that, because it is an extreme.
There's a balance.
It is an extreme.
When I looked at his closet and I saw literally about 10 of the exact same color button-down shirts, I got a little...
You got a little red flag?
Yeah, it hit a string in me. But, it may serve him. That might be a uniform for him. As a corporate mogul or whatever the case may be.
Well, he, because of his family dynamic, the relationship between he and his dad, the relationship, you know, the divorce, they're growing up with his mom, wanting his dad's approval all the time. He's got an esteem issue to me. And I really got that when he talked about the fact that he needs a clingy woman. He said that he would go for the level 5 clingy woman. That means someone who needs him to be everything for her.
Abandonment issues.
Yeah.
You know, he's felt that he has been abandoned, and he does not want that from the woman that he chooses. And
so he goes for clingy women, and Val does not strike me as a clingy woman.
That's an independent. She's going to be there by choice. She's not going to feel like she needs him.
So, you know, him wanting the woman to initiate everything, you know, that's the person who's, you have to tell me that you love me. You have to show me that you want me. You have, be first. There's always this testing and proving that happens with that kind of a personality.
And, see, in this situation,
and that's a huge red flag.
I really think that counseling can work wonders for him. Just to be open to accept, you know, the results of what a person that's willing to be in a relationship with you can bring to the table, not just the expectations and the superficial.
Yeah, but and that goes to his not wanting to be vulnerable. I don't want to risk anything giving out, so I want you to show me all the time that you need me, and that can be a red flag. But the fact that they've got the culture, the fact that they've got that understanding, you know, helps a lot. Brett and Ryan. Okay. Brett.
Yeah. Serious serial dater. Has been around a while. You know.
The redhead. Brett is the redhead. Yeah. I was trying to remember
and I'm thinking
who
of
that
Ryan
was.
Being the dater for
the serial dater.
Years. Right.
The serial dater. Right. Yeah. So Brett, the redhead. Likes to take her time to know somebody. She a lot of what she talked about reminded me of myself. You know, and from the standpoint of she wants someone serious at the beginning, which is what we both said.
Right.
If you're not finished playing, I don't need it.
Exactly. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of time to waste. We met in our 30s, and that was our mindset.
She's been told by people that men find her intimidating. I was told the same thing.
Oh. Actually, when I met her, y'all had almost similar hair color.
Yeah, that's true. I was more of a burgundy redhead, but
richer, but
that kind of flaming type of. Yeah. Obviously, I don't have that anymore.
Still got fire.
But so yeah, just you know, hasn't been dating, you know.
Hadn't kissed a man in 2 years.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
You know, so she's paired with Ryan, who admits to being a serial dater, but who realized that there was more to life than that after his best friend passed away.
Don't know exactly how, but it flipped a switch in him.
Yeah, and so you could tell just from his demeanor compared to all the other guys' demeanor, especially like at the bachelor party. And he wasn't really into...
No, he wanted to get this thing done.
Yeah.
We're going through this. Okay, I'm here, but we'll move on.
Yeah.
I want her.
So there wasn't a lot of characteristic that was brought out about Ryan other than he's a country boy. He likes outdoors, you know, that kind of thing. But nothing personality-wise, really.
But I'm glad you kind of brought that out because of him being a country boy. You know, you have a tendency to just be who you are. You know, you don't put on airs or anything like that. And he's not a very, you know, boisterous, vibrant type personality. So one might think that there's something below the surface or something. He's just I think he's just an extremely focused individual.
And they seem to be taking this whole thing very seriously.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens there. Then the last couple, Rachel and Jose.
Yeah.
She's been, she's focused, has been focused and taking care of herself, lost quite a bit of weight, pattern of dating the wrong guy. I think a lot of women can say that. And so, and as a result, tends to be too accommodating, as in, and she said she has typically molded herself to whoever she's dating and what they want, which is a red flag, because that means that you don't really know who you are. Or you're scared to be who you are.
And you're not letting who you're with know who you are. Yeah.
And although through the process of losing the weight and all of that, and starting to practice self-care, old habits die hard. And she's going to really have to work at not letting old habits creep into this relationship of always being accommodating, and which also means that you don't want to be confrontational.
Sure.
Which means that it's easy to just continually acquiesce to the other person who's stronger, and then that can create a lot of problems down the road too.
Yeah, and Jose is the type of individual who is very
structured.
Yeah, very cookie cutter, and nothing wrong with that, because it has worked for him exceptionally well. I mean, he finished school, he paid off his debt, he started businesses, and he has done it in a structured, meticulous manner,
which creates this perfectionism.
Yeah, and
he's a perfectionist who expects perfection.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of pressure to put on anyone to expect perfection.
True.
Because your life has gone the way it has gone, then you expect the same level of focus and drive and ambition and in the relationship from the other person. And again, not to say that there's anything wrong with expecting a similar person, but it tends to create unrealistic expectation of a relationship, because that's with another human being, not with a robot.
Right. And nobody does what you do the same way you do it. So
and what you do, and I'm glad you said that, because if what you have done has worked great for you, then you tend to think that my way is
the best,
the only way.
Yeah, it works. I'm proof that it works.
Right.
So do it my way.
Exactly. And even we have had these discussions about, it's not about your way being the best. It's because I have ways that work for me too.
It's a comfort zone and familiarity.
Yeah. So you can give me an advice of your way. It doesn't mean that I have to take that.
Sure.
Because I have my thought process, you have your thought process. And Jose is going to have to figure that out.
Yeah, he's going to have to bring it down a notch.
Yeah.
Just to understand that there are other ways of achieving goals.
Right.
Than just a way.
So, our time is almost up. We've gone a little over, but then we were recapping kind of 2 weeks worth.
True.
So, predictions. Let's see. Who do you think will or will not stay married at the end? Merla and Gil. Wait. I'm sorry. First, let's just say we always hope that all couples will stay married.
True.
We're not saying that this is what we want to happen, but based on what we've seen over the past 2 weeks.
Not only that, but also looking at last season, and seasons previously, but last season there was a 60% achievement rate. Which is now down to 20%.
Right. People who stayed married at the end are now divorced. So the only couple that's still together is Brianna and Vince,
who we voted for in the
first place. Yay! Yes. Okay. So. Yeah. All right. So Mirla and Gil.
She's gonna have to.
No. Will they stay married or not?
If I don't know. There's gonna be some major adapting, more so on her part than his. But they're both going to have to adapt. But I look at them as an extremely strong couple. I do. But it's all contingent on their willingness to adapt and embrace each other.
Everything is contingent on people's willingness to adapt and all that kind of stuff. But that's why our prediction is this is just based on what we've seen thus far. You've seemed very nervous to say yay or nay. So I'm just gonna go and put it out there.
I'm a numbers guy. I'll give it a percentage.
Okay.
40-60. 40 yay, 60 nay.
Okay. Nay for me. Michaela and Zachary.
I'll switch it the other way. 60-40. Zach's going to have to step up a little bit, personally, I think.
And Michaela would have to tone down a little bit.
If he could handle it, I think that's good. I don't think she will be the issue because I think she can fall into...
That's interesting because I think she will be the issue.
She'll be the issue because he may not step up.
Okay. So, 60 yay, 40 nay.
Yeah.
And I'm neutral.
Ooh, 50-50.
Yeah. Because I can see where they could make it there, and I could see where they could not.
Mm-hmm. That's the same thing as me.
Yeah. But neutral. Bao and Johnny.
They should.
I agree. I would say yay.
I would say yay too. They should.
Brett and Ryan.
I think they should too.
I would say yay.
Yeah.
I would say yay.
Yeah. I give that like a 75-25.
And Rachel and Jose.
It's like a third, and a third. That's not as weird, but...
I'm going to say no because of him.
But see, it's because of his like, and her...
I'm going to say no because of him.
I'm
Give your percentage.
50-50.
Okay.
50-50. But literally, it's a third, and a third. Third him, a third her, and a third of
them.
So not polar opposites, but pretty distinct elements that are opposite.
Yeah.
You know. So I'll say neutral.
So tell us what you think.
Yeah, please.
Give us your prediction on which couples you think will stay married at the end, or who even will make it to the end. Because that's what we've also seen in past seasons, where some couples would even make it to the end.
True.
And who you think won't. And of course, like we said, this all depends on each person's willingness to be flexible and to compromise and to negotiate and to adapt themselves to this new situation.
Yeah, that they chose.
All right. So there you are. We're done. And we hope that we have found our way to watch Married at First Sight as in real time so that we can get back to posting our recaps on Thursday. But if not, we're still going to post every week.
Stay tuned.
Late or not.
Stay tuned.
Keep your notification on so that when we do post, you'll get that notification and know that there's something there to watch.
Yeah. And for all the newcomers, like, dislike, but give us your input.
All right. Well, until later on this week, we hope that you have a good one and stay safe.
Peace. Enjoy.